Every fighter that you have ever watched has a hidden blueprint. The reason they keep winning the same kind of fights the same kind of way. But most people don't see it. So because of that, you can't fully understand any fight you're watching. I've uncovered 4 patterns hiding underneath the biggest fights in the sport. And once you see them, it will change your whole perspective of mixed martial arts. I'm calling this the Fight IQ Project. And it comes one concept at a time, but each one gets a full breakdown in my YouTube shorts. Now, let's start with the one that makes you realize getting caught isn't an accident. Before we start, this channel is the journey of building this project in public. If watching MMA gets decoded in real time sounds like your thing, stick around. Now, let's go for that. Concept 1. The counter trap. There are a lot of fights that end in what fans call a fluke KO. Fights like Carlos Ulberg vs Yuri Prohaska or Alex Pereira vs Israel Adesanya too. Fans keep saying, oh, he just got caught, but sometimes him getting caught wasn't a fluke, it's the entire plan. Counter fighters like Conor McGregor, Sean O'Malley and Israel Adesanya analyze fights in real time by recognizing patterns and making reads mid-fight to concoct a strategy, so the next time the opponents try something sloppy, they make them pay for it. Sometimes these kind of fighters deliberately create openings to seem vulnerable, and because it's a fight where it's kill or be killed, the opponent usually takes the bait and gets sparked unconscious, and that's the trap. Now, here's a live example. We've all seen this KO before. Sterling launches forward and then normally counters him to the shadow realm. But what if I tell you that this KO was actually planned? Throughout the fight, even though it was short, Aljo's game plan was to pressure O'Malley so as to get a takedown. So why is it that here, Sterling got dropped? In round 1, Aljo and O'Malley kept each other at range, only throwing kicks, but Aljo was able to pressure O'Malley towards the cage and clinch, landing a few shots. But the thing is, whenever Aljo launched forward and was pressuring, he overextended and O'Malley let it slide. By round 2, Aljo showed the same habit again, but this time got punished for it by a pull counter from Sean. So that's the counter trap, identifying a reckless habit and punishing it. The next one is something you don't notice until it reveals itself. Concept 2. Phantom control. Imagine you're a Japanese fighter called Yushin Okami, and they are challenging Anderson Silva for the UFC middleweight title in 2013. Ace defenses, perfect record, and he has a personal reason to want this one, because you've actually fought him before, but he was disqualified for an illegal upkick. The fight starts and you're doing everything right. You pressure forward and have the center of the cage, but Anderson is just moving around throwing feints. So you start thinking, why does everyone fear this guy? Then he begins strange movements with his hands. You try to interrupt his rhythm, but Anderson is already in his flow state. An uppercut lands, then a head kick stuns you. You go back to your corner confused, saved by the bell. You follow the game plan and yet you're losing. Second round and the hand movement starts again. You've learned your lesson, so you press forward with the 1-2. So he circles out. Anderson follows up with the right hook and stays in the pocket. Now you're cautious, paranoid that every time those hands start moving, something bad happens. You throw a series of jabs. None of them land, but you get dropped on the 4th. Then Anderson allows you to stand up, but you get dropped again and finished, just like everyone else during this era. Yushin Okami thought was winning the fight until Anderson suddenly finished him. That's phantom control, the art of creating a false sense of safety for your opponent. Concept 3. Pressure paradox. To understand the pressure paradox, you first need to understand what pressure actually is. Pressure is when a fighter is moving forward and walking down his opponent, causing his opponents to react and make mistakes. But the pressure paradox is when the fighter getting walked down actually presents more of a threat. It may sound similar to the counter trap, because the one getting pressured has to counter. But how they differ is the fact that the pressure paradox is a state of dominating your opponent, despite being pressured, while the counter trap is waiting for or baiting your opponents to throw a particular strike in order to counter it. And the fighter that can do this very well is Max Holloway. Check out this sequence. At the start of round 3 versus the Korean Zombie, TKZ starts to empty the tank against Max, pressuring him to the cage side. He throws more wild shots, but Max is measured and lands slick counters. As soon as TKZ has his hands down, Max plants his feet and lands an overhand right that sparks him as cold. Max may have been pressured, but at the end, he was one who got his hand raised. Concept 4. Positional attrition. Positional control in MMA is strategic use of body placement, distance management, and grappling positions to dominate your opponent. While attrition is a slow process where fighters wear down an opponent's physical and mental energy until they break or slow down. When you join these two together, they become dominating opponents by wearing them down. In striking, it's positional awareness accompanied by using one strike to damage your opponent. And this can be leg kicks, jabs, uppercuts, or anything that I can think of. But in grappling, it's timing and being relentless. Fighters like Alex Pereira and Khabib Nurmagomedov take the opponents into deep waters and overwhelm them. A perfect display is Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. At the beginning of the fight, Pereira started investing in the calf kicks and jabs. Even though Khalil had big moments in the fight and even stunning Alex with a head kick, it didn't change the inevitable. By round 3, Khalil got tired and then Pereira began to enter a flow state, with all his shots getting through way more easily. Finally, by round 4, Pereira increased his volume output and began wailing on Khalil, and the jab playing a key factor in this. For every jab that Pereira landed, Pepe was little energy Khalil had left in him, and that was just the beginning of it. Khalil couldn't put weight on his lead leg because of the kicks, and his face was visibly damaged because of the jabs. Pereira broke Khalil down and overwhelmed him, prompting the finish and showcasing a kickboxing masterclass, with his main weapon being the jab. So far, we've gone over the first concepts of the Fight IQ project, and more are yet to come. It's not a finished product yet, but I'm building it one at a time, and this channel is how you watch it grow. Later, I will make a document with all the concepts inside them, so stick around to find out. And wait, before you go, if you have anything to say, feel free in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And now, on to the next.